since we're here.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with Betsy Ramsey. She is very well known, and she doesn't want to. She's very humble, but she's very well known in the world of domestic violence and sexual assault. She's very knowledgeable, and she's agreed to let me interview her today very graciously. So we'll just jump right into it. So Betsy, during these uncertain times, during COVID and with everything going on, what are some things we can do to help ourselves when we find ourselves in difficult situations, mentally or physically?
Well, I think one thing we need to remember is that we have to look after ourselves, because if we don't, we can't help anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to do is make sure that we have, some kind of plan in place that when I have a thought that I don't want to have or whatever's going on, that we know what we're going to do about it.
Exactly.
And
I agree.
A couple of things that I recommend, what I have seen, particularly with women, is sometimes we get lost. Mm-hmm. And we sort of lose ourselves with everything that goes on, particularly when you're trying to raise children and have all these, different things, responsibilities.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So one of the things that I recommend is, and particularly if you've been in some kind of abusive relationship, what you need to do is go find some kind of a picture of you before that time, before whatever the tragedy was or whatever happened. I mean, it could be something else too. And so what you do is you're going to take that picture and you're going to hold it up and you're going to look in the mirror. And you're not looking for age. That has nothing to do with it. What you are looking for is, your eyes. Are they still bright? Do you still look like you're ready to take on the world?
That inner health.
Inner health, yes. This is totally inner, not exterior. And so you're going to do that. And then you're going to, if you're looking at it and saying, wait a minute, I don't look like I used to internally. Then you start, what am I going to do about it? And you start figuring out something that you can do to get you back.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And what are some things that you can do to get the you back if you decide that that's something you need to do?
Right. Number one, you've got to keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth 3 times. Relax your body. You need to be good to yourself, be kind to yourself. And particularly if you've had someone who has been talking to you, talking down to you and saying things like, some of the things we hear a lot in domestic violence is, you're stupid, you're fat, you're ugly, whatever may be going on. Breaking them down, breaking down your esteem, making you feel badly about yourself. So what you need to do is lift yourself up. Be around people, listen to music, pray, whatever works for you. And what I also recommend is you have one place that you go to when you need to do that. It can be a chair, it can be your porch, it can be
even just a picture you look at.
Whatever it is that works for you.
Something to engage you in that mindset.
Right. And to remove those negative thoughts. Because women in particular, we can, get in that mode of guilt.
Yes.
Where we feel like we're responsible for everything that goes on in the world.
For everybody.
For everyone. And that is not true.
Right.
Other people are responsible for themselves, and we're responsible for ourselves, even though you may have lots of responsibilities. So what you need to do is be kind to yourself. Don't talk down to yourself. Sometimes we are the worst person to mentally abuse ourselves.
So true.
We're thinking, well, that was so stupid. Why did I do that? And I made all these mistakes 5 years ago, and what am I going to do? And so what we need to do and concentrate on is not what we did before or didn't do, but what are we going to do from today on?
Right.
Okay?
Right. The things you have control over is what you're about to do, not what you've already done.
And you learn from mistakes, but you still need to be moving forward. And so do your mirror test, find the place that you want to be, and when you're in that place, no negative, nothing negative. Everything,
just dismiss those negative thoughts.
Dismiss them. We all have a tape or whatever you want to call it nowadays, and we can easily, push that button. And suddenly, I'm having a bad day, and all of a sudden, everything from years ago is coming around through my head. Should have done this. I didn't do that. Whatever it may be.
It's like the greatest hits reel of bad decisions you've made that plays through your mind.
Right. Or whatever went on. Yeah. Let's get a new tape.
Yes.
Let's move forward. I mean, there's books. There's, people you can watch on TV. There's music. There's whatever it is that works for you personally.
That can fill you with that positivity again.
Right. Because there's so much negative in the world, particularly right now.
Oh, yes.
And so what we have to do is surround ourselves with positive. If you've got a friend who, every time you talk to them, you leave feeling depressed,
maybe you create a little distance for a while.
Right.
I've had to do that. I think we all have had to do that.
Yeah.
I've been the negative friend, and I've been the friend who's got to step away. So
yeah, we all can be, because we all get down at times, and we all get down about different things, and you want to be supportive of your friends, but you don't want to be brought down to the point that it's actually causing you problems.
Right, where it becomes toxic.
Right. And there's a lot of toxic people, and there's a lot of toxic things going on right now.
Oh, yes. Just turn on the TV and you can see a million reasons to be.
Don't. Maybe turn the TV off.
Right. That's a form of self-care.
Right.
Just disengaging from that kind of stuff. Okay. Was there anything else as far as daily practice? What can you do on so that's a good practice to do to pull yourself out of a funk. But is there anything that you would recommend to do on a daily basis to sort of stop from getting in that place in the first place? Like, what are some good practices you can just do every single day that keep you in that positivity?
Well, personally, before I get up out of bed, I go on and pray. Now, if you don't pray, that's okay. But what I'm trying to say is you have a plan. When you wake up in the morning, what is your routine?
Right.
And your routine can be different things.
Right, but it sets the tone for the day.
Right, it does. And the other thing to remember is, let's say your day just not going that well. Got in traffic, all kinds of things happen. What you want to do is intercede in that negative pattern before you get down here. You want to immediately start right here.
Yes.
As soon as, you start thinking, well, this whole day is all messed up and it's not going to get any better and blah, blah, blah. What you need to do at that point is say, okay, stop. I'm fine. I have a job. I have whatever. It's going to be all right. And I'm not going to go down there.
Just try to redirect yourself towards gratitude instead of the negativity.
Right. And do it immediately. Sometimes we wait until we're down here. And then we got to climb all the way back up.
Right.
But if you can start with it up here, then you don't get down there. And folks, we're going to have bad days.
Yes.
Every one of us. And we have challenges, and we have to accept that. But it's how you react to it that's going to make the difference.
Yes.
In your life and other people's lives.
Yes, I agree. That's what you always have control over, is your own reaction, your own choices. And it can be difficult sometimes, but it's very important to, like you said, head those negative thoughts off at the pass.
Right.
So sometimes in talking about how you can react to things that come up in your life, what if you feel like one of your relationships is beginning to become abusive? Like, what are, if you could just touch briefly on maybe some early warning signs, and then what to do if you detect those, and what the best way to deal with that situation is.
Okay, yeah. What is going to happen is you're going to start losing yourself. And when I say that, that means that people are going to maybe notice that you're not as happy and cheerful as you used to be. Is something pulling you down? Is someone pulling you down. When an abusive relationship begins, it's not usually going to be someone hitting.
Right.
It is going to be just starting chipping away at you, your inner you, and to make you feel badly about yourself. And what you have to do is realize, wait a minute, I was just told that I'm, really stupid. Well, do we all make mistakes? Of course. But I'm not. And don't internalize these kind of comments. And some people have had them from childhood.
Yes.
Someone who said things to them when they were a child that they feel like they're never going to be worth anything or whatever it is. You are worth something. You are important. And you need to remember that. And if it's to the point where you're truly concerned, maybe you need to go talk to a counselor. That doesn't mean you're going to have to be there for the rest of your life.
Right.
It just means, get a checkup or talk to a friend that you trust. Or you can call a domestic violence program and say, this was said to me. They're not going to tell anyone, and they're not going to know the people.
Exactly.
So just be careful about letting others tell you what you are or what you actually should be thinking or what you think about yourself.
Don't let others define you.
Correct. Keep it as positive as you can. And like I said, life's not always positive. We know that. But what you want to do is not lose your inner self. And there are people who will do everything they can to tear you down internally. And how your mind and how you think and how you feel. And you want to be around people who are, actually encouraging you. We should be encouraging each other. We should not be just always talking about bad stuff. Be encouraging. Find people who encourage you. Beware of people who try to make you, think something about yourself that isn't true. Just you have to pay attention because it can be so minor. And it can
At
start
first.
out, it can start out, are you going to wear that? And the next thing you know, you're standing in front of your closet saying, well, if I wear that, is that going to work or not? If I don't wear that, you see, when you start, where constantly you're standing around questioning yourself, before you even make, not major decision, but I'm talking about just minor
Even
decisions.
day-to-day stuff you have to decide on.
Yeah, what am I going to wear? How am I going to do my hair? Whatever. And so anytime that you find yourself, particularly on the small stuff, that is a sign. That is a sign. Someone who is wanting to totally be in charge of your life, controlling you, you need to be aware of that. Also, if they're trying to isolate you.
Yes.
And keep you being around. Unfortunately, the way the world is right now, we've been in isolation. And that makes it hard too. But what we have to do is keep ourselves on an even keel. And remember that, we're going to have moments where we don't feel as good about ourselves. And so maybe it's something that we don't feel real comfortable doing. Whatever it may be, but come on, take a challenge. You can do it.
Right.
We all
That's
need
the
to
hardest
move
part is to find the motivation to, once you start to feel down and once somebody starts to take that positivity away from you, I think that's one of the hardest things is to find the motivation to get out. You just kind of have to, like you said before, almost fake it till you make it. Just say the nice things and do the routine until it becomes real for you.
You can also physically look up. If you're really feeling down, physically look up. Look at the sky or whatever is up there. Maybe rain, who knows? But that doesn't mean
if it's raining, don't look up for too long.
Right. Well, don't stand out in it. Unless you want to.
Right. Maybe that makes you feel better, and that's okay too.
Yeah, sometimes running through the rain can be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever works for you, because we all have different personalities. And something might work for you that doesn't work for me or vice versa.
Yes.
But the main point is keeping your internal self strong as you can, keeping your internal self on an even keel as much as you can, and just don't let other people define you or tell you how you should act or what you should do.
Or your worth.
Yeah, And you can always use, someone says it'd be better if you did this. I'm not saying that you
never
don't
take
always
advice.
listen. Yeah, you don't take advice, but the one thing that you want to do is be careful of whose advice you're taking.
Absolutely.
And how is it making you feel inside? If you're always feeling tense around that person, wondering what's going to happen next, that's not a good sign right there. Yeah,
it's a early sign of things to come, unfortunately, in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it is. And please, you cannot change someone else. You can only change yourself. And you don't go into a relationship thinking, well, yeah, I don't like this, but I'll change it. May not happen. When a couple gets together, do they make some adjustments? Of course.
Yes, compromise.
Yeah, but you don't want to become someone else, particularly someone you don't recognize when you look in the mirror
or like.
Yeah, right.
If you have to become somebody you don't like to please somebody else, it's not healthy in the long run.
But keep your sense of humor too.
Yes.
Because there's always something funny going on. Or watch something that's funny or whatever. I think
it's cliche to say laughter is the best medicine, but I really do feel like if I can find a way to make something funny, I can cope with almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some things are so devastating, there's not a way to make it funny. But like I'm talking about minor day-to-day stuff. If I do something stupid, instead of internalizing it and beating up on myself, I just laugh about it, even if I don't particularly feel like laughing about it. And then eventually it becomes funny and so serious.
And keep smiling. When we're wearing masks, it's hard to tell sometimes. But our eyes, you can tell by people's eyes. Sometimes their eyes don't look real cheerful, or they look. Attention to yourself, because you actually know yourself better than other people do. But you have good friends that know you too and can say, something's not right. Are you okay?
Yes.
And don't just ignore that.
Right. Really take some time to reflect and see where that change is coming from. And if you don't feel like it's from a positive place, maybe that's something you got to address.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I think that you're the only authority on yourself. And if you feel like something's off between you and another person, I think that's something worth paying attention to. But also, besides yourself, I think your friends and loved ones are your next best authority. Sure. And so if they are concerned about you, that's something you got to examine.
Right. And suddenly you've disappeared and they don't understand why. And that is something to ask. Why have you disappeared? Why are you not coming out anymore, or whatever might be going on?
And then it kind of becomes a cycle, because then you feel bad about not going, so you just avoid them even more, and then you become more isolated. So, don't beat yourself up if you got to take some time to yourself and make it the reason you don't come back for time with your friends later either.
Sure. We all need our time too. But there's just so many things going on right now, and we just have to sort of keep ourselves, some kind of a focus.
Yes.
But when you see that picture in the mirror and you don't like what you see, not the picture, but you, please, I encourage you, don't just say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. Because
there's always something.
There's always something you can do.
I agree. And I'll post some resources down in the description as far as different hotlines you can call if you're having thoughts of suicide or things like that, or if you're in a domestic violence situation. I'll put the national hotline down below, and just some resources for anybody who might need some help immediately. And if you have any questions, Betsy and I have already talked. She's going to be coming back for other episodes, so leave any questions in the comments and we'll try to address those in later episodes. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I think that's it for today.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Betsy, and thank you guys, and just remember to be considerate of others and considerate of yourself. Thanks. Bye-bye.